So the summary. Plan A, 10% first tithe. That goes into the church for the sustenance of the Levite. And there are quotations that said that it's really supposed to be used for only that purpose, but we'll look at that later. 7% spiritual retreat fund. And this is not given into the church. This is actually saved by yourself to get yourself to a wonderful camp service. God says, you know what? You work too hard. You need a vacation, but not a vacation for just playing around and having fun. You need a vacation in me. 3% for the poor. Okay. And even if the poor receives, they too must be ready to give to God. And then 5% for free will offerings. And plan B, which is the bonus, 5% for charity. So plan A was the requirement. Plan B is those who say, God, you're so sweet. All that I am is yours. All right, now, investing is 20% of your income. Now, when I first heard about what the Jews were doing, all right, that's very interesting, but where do they get that thought from in the Bible about investing 20%? Because God gave them the wisdom. And then one day I was studying and just reading that. When I saw it, it hit me like, oh my goodness, look at this. Wow. Wisdom, man. Genesis 41, verse 34. Let Pharaoh do this. So again, God is not only interested in us, in his money, he also gave wisdom to us as well. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. The 5th part. How much is that? The 5th of your income in plentiful times is 20%. And what did Joseph do? And what did Joseph do with it? He acquired and held the asset for cheap, $0. Genesis 41, verse 48. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities, and the food of the field which was round about every city, laid he up the same. And then what did he do? He sold it back to those he got it from for 100% profit. Can't beat that. 100% profit. Genesis 41, verse 56, and the famine was over for the face of the earth, and the famine was over all the face of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. The result was he ended up having a monopoly on food. Not only that, but he gathered for free, and then and then in the hard times he sold back to those he bought from, giving him 100% profit. That's how God's wisdom works. In the times of hardship, when persons are expected to be getting poorer, God's man, because of the wisdom God gave him, was getting richer. And if you look in this world, people talk about the stock market, prices rising and falling, but the wise in the world know that whether the prices of goods rise or fall, they would become rich whether it goes up or down. But what are all people taught? Give your tithe, and that's it. God's not just concerned about his money, he's concerned about you too. He's saying that he gave the wisdom that 20%, if you invest it, you should use that to grow. That's how God's wisdom works.